Hello and welcome to We the People Taking Back Our Power, and welcome also to my YouTube channel, Dr. Atari, ends in a Y, and I'm Yasmin Attar, starts with a Y. First, I want to explain the reason that I'm making these videos. As you can tell by the title, We the People Taking Back Our Power is about what we can do to reclaim our democracy that I believe has been hijacked by the special interests. I want to appeal to people of all nationalities, ethnicities, genders, and all ages all over the world. I especially want to let the younger generation know how many of us in the older generation support you. For example, I admire the Enough movement and March for Our Lives, young activists around the globe who want something done to protect our Earth. For example, this young girl, Greta Thunberg from Sweden, and the youth strike for climate that happened on March 15th of this year, 2019. People who are sick of the uber-wealthy controlling so much of the world's resources. We are in agreement. Many in the older generation are as sick of the same things as the younger generation. The disproportionate power held by the wealthy elites, the destruction of the environment and wildlife, human rights abuses, all to benefit a few, then leaving a scorched earth. So back to the title, We the People Taking Back Our Power. As it suggests, my focus here is the anti-corruption movement, taking back our power from the moneyed interests who wield far more power than they should and manipulate and control too much of the planet. It doesn't have to be this way. We can change to an equitable system. And don't let anyone tell you it can't be done. I refuse to accept that nothing can be done about it just because it's difficult. It has been done in the past, and it will be done again, I'm confident. I also recommend that you watch other YouTube channels, the Young Turks, they're also known as TYT Nation, Ring of Fire, The Damage Report, The Rational National. These are just a few. By the way, one of my friends gave me a ration of doo-doo about the name Young Turks. Well, I can't control what they name themselves, but I'm sure they have a reason, and if I dug deeper, I'd find out what it means. My purpose is to be positive, maintain hope for the future, and be part of the solution. So a little bit about me. First, I'm originally from New York, but have been in Southern California for many lifetimes. Haha. I came to Claremont, California to get a graduate degree, which I finally, after way more years than I needed to, completed. I earned a living working as a program evaluator for public mental health services and then did various other jobs, including working for a private education company. I have also worked on grant-funded programs, for example, a domestic violence prevention program for faith and religious leaders. And I've also written some grant proposals, one of which got funded for the Soldiers Project. The Soldiers Project is a group of mental health professionals who donate their counseling services to military veterans and their loved ones. It's totally free and completely confidential. And it's for the Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom veterans. And most recently, I've taught psychological research methods and statistics at one of the state colleges. But I have spent many of the past 10 years either unemployed or underemployed. Because of this, I believe I am in a unique position to understand what many people are going through, young and old. It is harder and harder to make ends meet in this economy. There are jobs, but most of them are low wage or the type of jobs we don't really have skills for. And that's a topic for a future video. The cost of living makes it difficult to move anywhere else because, lo and behold, it's getting expensive everywhere. A friend of mine says I should move to Lake Isabella, where property is cheap. But that's up in the mountains, and where would I work? At what job? And if everybody moved to Lake Isabella, guess what would happen to the property prices there? But anyway, back to my purpose for making this present video, and more to come. To bring about an equitable system that protects the environment and maintains human rights while allowing everyone to prosper requires uniting and making our voices heard and our actions count. So I want this site to be a forum for that to happen, perhaps a clearinghouse of all the events that will make it possible for us to succeed. That's why I'm calling this We the People Taking Back Our Power. I know there are similar names elsewhere. It's from our Constitution, duh. And I may have to change it up, which I hope not. At this site, I want you to be involved. Let me know what your concerns are and how you want to solve the problem you are interested in. My concern, and I'll give you an example, is I'm interested in what's going to happen to all the people around the world who are going to lose our jobs or be unable to find decent paying work because of automation and artificial intelligence. The estimates are that it will be 40% of jobs lost, and this is probably a conservative estimate. It doesn't take into account all the jobs that have been lost already, with manufacturing in the United States, for example, gone, the outsourcing of jobs, and the increased productivity, in other words, doing more with less. That epitomizes the current workplace approach in the United States. We have been on a race to the bottom, and it would be good to do something about it before we hit rock solid bottom. Another thing I'm concerned about is the reduction of overpopulation. Overpopulation is really at the root of what is happening toward the destruction of our planet. Did you know that Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue to find a new world because the old world was overpopulated? This was a cover issue of Time magazine a few years ago. Here's a photo of it. Anyway, what happened after he found the new world? Besides one of the greatest genocides on the planet, we ended up overpopulating the new world. So as you can see, there is much to be done for us to clean up the mess we have made. I believe we must all take responsibility, except for the people on low-lying islands who contribute little to greenhouse gases yet will suffer the greatest consequences. They get a pass. Here are a few ground rules. Only positivity is allowed on this site. Respect and civil language at all times, and credit is to be given where credit is due. If you have an idea, it's your idea, and I want to give you credit for it. I'd like you to contact me and tell me something you are interested in or concerned about. The way to do that, if you don't already have a YouTube channel, is to sign in with your Facebook account or with Gmail. Or it's fairly simple to create a YouTube channel. I had the tech guy at Target help set mine up when I bought my iPhone. You need the YouTube app, and you also need an app called YouTube Studio. All are free. And here for my first interview is John Howard. Tell me your name and where you are.
John Howard, Herndon, Virginia.
Okay, John,
Yes.
tell me what concerns you.
Well, we were talking earlier about Tristan Harris's foundation, the Center for Humane Technology, and what I guess I would take away from that label is the recognition that the insufficient recognition that we are on a road to losing control of the technological innovations we have created, and that could create some serious problems. I called your attention to this example of a kid who was, intercepting drones and navigating them themselves. We know about certain computerized automobiles with self-driving capabilities that have caused accidents. But even more importantly than that, people have determined that they can be remotely controlled contrary to the operator's wishes under certain circumstances. That's not a good thing when people acquire and use things that they don't understand how they work. I was a Geek Squad agent some years back. Not the highest paying job in the world, but it was a heck of a lot of fun. I got to watch a lot of very affluent, highly educated people come into the precinct, as we called our units, to get their their computer issues taken care of. It was amazing how many people would spend thousands of dollars on high-end MacBook Pros and gaming computers and all kinds of things, not knowing the least bit about why they got somehow compromised by malware or some other problem. Point to their internet browsing history and say, "You have kids, don't you?" So how do you know? Because I can see the browsing history of where your kids have been online for the last several weeks.
Wow.
My suggestion is it's a girl, isn't it? It's a girl, right? Because I could tell that too, based on the nature of the sites they had visited. I would suggest you tell your daughter not to visit these sites. Some of them are known conduits for malware. That may be why your computer's got a problem and why you're in here talking to me. That's how Geek Squads work.
Yeah, so I also wanted to ask you are you going to do about your concern?
All you can do is it's sort of a retail operation. You just have to educate people one at a time. By retail, I don't mean in the commercial sense, but I mean in the on the one person at a time sense. Yes,
Mhm.
some schools have built it into their curricula that these things are taught. In fact, another one of my prior endeavors was as a business and IT teacher here in Virginia. Part of the curriculum has to do with internet safety.
Mhm.
I tell all my kids, all of whom have at least two cell phones in their possession, one for mom and dad, one for their friends, that look, everything you do is everywhere forever. So when you take these questionable selfies, keep that in mind. There's no such thing as internet security. It is an oxymoron.
John, and what about this guy Tristan Harris? What about him? What were you going to do?
I'm going to contact him. Thank you for reminding me. I meant to do that earlier.
Mhm.
He is a former Googler and
Mhm.
who has created this Center for Humane Technology, which has as its mission the inculcation of humane values into the
Mhm.
development of cyber technology, among other
Mhm.
things. I think that's
Great.
a long overdue perspective, and I'm glad he's
Mhm.
doing it. And it's my hope that I can get in touch with him and see what more I can, how much more I can help and learn and all that from his efforts.
Mhm.
Hacking is going on. There's all kinds of forum on LinkedIn and other
Mhm.
fora about cybersecurity. You can have the best technology in the world, but the bottom line, it's end users that are responsible for the most of the major breaches that are going on. Somebody uses a stupid password or no password, or they
Mhm.
fail to update their software or their antivirus or their anti-malware programs.
Mhm.
They leave their machine logged in when they go to the bathroom or to lunch. All of
Mhm.
those are unsafe. Stop doing that.
Okay, well, thank you so much, John, and uh, let's follow up and see where you are in a couple of weeks. Thank you.
Yes.
Goodbye, that's it for now until the next video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would definitely like to hear back from you. And I'm also showing you the name of those other YouTube channels I told you about and what I've referenced and the names of the photographers and the articles.